right, it just came out of between. And I was cloaked before I got on Gilly to transmute, or transport, I mean. I'm always a little uneasy when they cloak me because it doesn't happen very frequently at all. And we arrived somewhere, but I can't see anything yet to know where we are. Oh, wait. We just went in between again. So we're jumping? We're jumping. Oh, wow. I think I've only ever done that one other time. When we went to the other universe, I think is when I had to do that. We've arrived again somewhere. Whoa, this is wild. What the blazes is going on? We're still moving. Haley, are we in a planet now? Yes. So we had to get outside of the planet and then go inside the planet. Is that what happened? That's what the jump was? We went to one galaxy, and then we had to get into the planet. So we're not in our solar system. No, we're not. Okay. I'm just in darkness. Well, and I don't feel like we're moving. Where are we and what are we doing right now? Waiting. We didn't go back to the Hadron Galaxy, did we? No. Thank goodness. Okay. The Hadron Galaxy was, I believe it was our April update. A galaxy, a planetary system that was destroyed by a virus.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was a wild trip. Was it April?
Yeah, I think so, something like that. It's where the AI merged with the virus and further mutated. It made it even more dangerous.
And destroyed the planet. Yeah.
Yeah. Would also destroy the galaxy, too. So they had to quarantine the whole galaxy.
Right. Yes. Okay. I'm still in darkness. Oh, here comes a light. Is it a shuttle? Yes. A shuttle? Really? What? That's not comfortable. The energy's not comfortable. Ooh. I
love you, Gilly.
Gilly. He just smiled. She just smiled. I'm so sorry, Gilly. I'm still so used to drumming. She just smiled. Where'd the light go? The light disappeared. Oh, we're following the light. We're following it. So, are we going to a ship? Yes. So that was a shuttle taking us to a ship. Or are we staying in the planet? We're going to the ship. Good. Okay. We're entering a cargo hold. It's just so pitch black. It's like there's no stars. I mean, usually I can see light somewhere. Still in darkness. Mark, are you sensing anything? I'm lost here. I don't know what's going on.
It's almost like not quite, almost like a void. Because I know there's between dimensions. There's the void that you've experienced, right?
Right.
Between certain dimensions,
Let
there's
me flip.
an interdimensional void, but there's also an interdimensional transient space between the dimensions. It's almost like we're in that interdimensional transient space, not in the void per se, but in the interdimensional transient space. Is that correct, Gilly?
He's smiling. He got it. No wonder I couldn't. I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, good God. Yeah, because it's a different space than I've been in before. That's all I know. I can tell everybody I'm in a different space than I've ever. Oh! It's like it's like we're shooting up this huge freight elevator. Oh my God. We're moving. I can tell you that. We're just moving up this very quickly, fast, up this elevator. Oh. All right. Now I see light. What the blazes just happened? Gilly? All I'm seeing is light. I can't make out. Are we in a building? It feels like I was in an elevator. Very big elevator because Gilly's in it too. Talk about freight. Whew. We're moving out of this. We're in a. Is this a ship? Are we in a ship? Yes, Karen. It feels like a building. It's so big. All right, I need help here seeing. I'm just seeing light. You know how if somebody like took a flash picture of you and you're just seeing this light in your eyes? That's what I'm seeing right now. All right. Gilly's walking in to the car. I think we're in the cargo hold, right? Yes. Oh, thank God. Galilee, not Gilly. Galilee, hello, namaste. I'm so happy to see somebody. Yes, Karen, this was a little different for you, wasn't it? Oh, Kari.
Namaste,
thank
everyone.
You. Namaste.
Happy to see you.
Kari is not here, and Willem is here. Namaste. All right. What the heck just happened? Can you please clarify for everyone why I had to go into an interdimensional space? Because
interdimensional transient space.
That's between dimensions, right, Mark? That's what you said? That's
yes.
Between dimensions.
Yes.
So what dimension are we in then? Good question, Karen. You have just transported into the 9th, 10th dimensional frequency what you would consider the Octarians to be. It's a higher vibrational light. That's why you're having a little trouble seeing here. The cloak that is on you is to assist you in being in this dimensionality. It's not an invisibility cloak. It's a cloak to help you be here now. It's not helping me see. Is there anything we can do about that? I'm still having a hard time seeing. We're going to take you to the transport and we'll work with it there. Okay. All right. So we're moving through the ship. And we're going to This reminds me of the kind of thing I had to go in to be in the reptilian ship that put it literally wrapped me in this field, and it was a field, and it did bubble shrunk wrap onto me. It created an environment for me to breathe in and exist in that was the right nutrients and oxygen levels for my body, because our bodies are so different than the reptilians. So is that kind of what this is? Yes. Okay.
But it also has some transdimensional technologies as part of it as well.
So that's why it's different. It's like a fabric. It's like the fabrics that they're making the technology suits out of now for the super soldiers. Correct. All right. So they're putting me in this thing, and okay, it's just made a suit on me. Waha. That fits perfect. Wow. And it's like a fabric. It's, wow, way cool. So cool. All right. Now I'm coming out, and what am I seeing? Now I am seeing all kinds of beings. So these beings are, wow. Oh, wait. Are we in another amphibian ship? I'm seeing like beings floating across. Many, many species work in this ship, but they're all much higher vibrational than most humans. The Octarians are able to go in and out of light. They're just, the 9th, 10th dimensional beings are very high vibration. These beings seem like they're maybe 9 through 12. That's when they have more of the ability to work with light and be a light essence. From my teachings, you'll hear different people say different things, but that's what I've been shown in my journey work. Okay, so I'm just seeing them flying back and forth and doing different things in the cargo hold. Interesting. Almost like beings with the Shimmer Light Alliance, where they, Shimmer was just this vibration of light. A lot of these beings are just vibrations of light. Aspects. Okay. We are going on a shuttle. No, a people mover. Like an escalator kind of thing. But these are huge. They're much bigger than our escalators. And this ship is huge. Is this the biggest mothership I've ever been to, Galilee? It feels like it is. No, you've been on some this big, and it's one of the biggest you've ever been on. Okay. All right. Are we going to some kind of a meeting? Yes. Good. And wow. I can't fathom what this is going to be about, actually, at this point. I'm just seeing, it's almost like I'm blinded by the light. That's the best way I need to explain it all to everybody. I'm blinded by the light right now. It's so bright. Galilee and Korea have sunglasses on. I want sunglasses too. I just got sunglasses. Okay. Well, that helps. Now I can see beings in these. There's just glass, and And now I can see beings flying around. Wow. So for anybody who doesn't know what it's like to transition when you die, you become this light essence, and you're light. And I can tell you, I've worked with light beings before. I've been in places where there's just all light beings, and I can hear the consciousness in each of them. So you don't just become a mass light when you transition. You still maintain your soul's consciousness field. And you work in a different dimensionality, is what this is showing. Wow, this is wild. Okay.
Can you perceive me there with you?
No, it's like you're, excuse me, it's like you're looking down from another dimension. Guys, if I keep yawning, just let everybody know that's listening. That happens when I'm in a very high frequency, because it's hard to keep myself at that level. So if you hear me yawning a lot, that's what it's meaning. It's taking a lot of energy to be here, because I'm in a denser form than any of these beings. And even though I send my energy out remotely, I'm still grounded by my physical body. So I have to work even harder to be out here. So that, if that helps everybody understand. We're going into a meeting room. Oh, I really, guys, can you help me see better? I'm having a hard time seeing in this frequency level. Okay, they just gave me they gave me goggles. This usually works. When I get goggles, I'm still not seeing anything. Okay, thank you. Thank you for helping me see in this space. Thank you. Oh, okay. They're taking my hands, and okay, now I'm seeing better. They're helping me see better. Galilee's on my right and Mary's on my left. And we're sitting in an assembly, and are we really high up again, sort of in the nosebleed section? Oh, there we go. It just moved to our level. Huh. Namaste. Thank you all for coming. We are here today to talk about what is going on with the light and dark web of the universes. We've seen a significant shift in what is happening in that quantum entanglement, and we're concerned about where this is moving to. There are elements that are fighting hard with the dark web. However, we are also happy to report that there is great effort being made to alter the entanglements of the dark web. Now, you all know we live in duality. We are in a dualistic biological reality in most dimensions. This dimension is different. However, we have invited guests from the other dimensionalities so that we can share this information with you. The purpose of this conversation is to bring awareness to shifts that are happening and how to affect it positively or negatively. We of the, not getting this word, Galilee, what? I'm going to keep going because I don't know what the race are here to remind all of you that your consciousness levels and fields and the light frequency that you are vibrating at will greatly be impacted by the quantum entanglements of both the light web and the dark web. This is what is important to remember. When you're dealing with these two aspects, know that you are touching everything that exists. These webs are meant to connect dimensions. In some ways they hold it together, and in some ways they tear apart the fabric of the dimension. That is the purpose of the dark web. Tear apart, light web, hold together and expand. Break down, expand, break down, expand, break down, expand. There's purposes for both. It's important to understand that. It's important to understand that there is a purpose and a place for everything. There are times when you want to break down a structure, a web, a consciousness field, a dimensionality. There are times to expand it. Growth happens through this duality. It has come to our understanding that the dark web is wanting to be destroyed. Now, let us clarify something very clearly with all of you. The dark web is meant to break down. It's the same as the black hole that recreates. The stars go into a black hole and everything is recreated from them. Energetically, light is recreated and reformed. That is the purpose of the dark web as well. However, it's been manipulated in many dimensions, in many galaxies, in different universes. There's the unfortunate entanglement that has occurred. And it has created a ripple effect in the ability of the dark web to break things down. Instead of breaking them down, it is destroying or enslaving, and it has created an imbalance. All of you here are aware of that because you're dealing with that imbalance from the galaxies you're coming from. You are aware. It's creating that imbalance in universes that many of you here have experienced. It's always important to remember new growth comes after destruction. After the weather imbalances, after the planetary changes, after magnetic field changes. That is where new growth comes from. Yes, it has wiped out species, it has wiped out planets, it has wiped out galaxies, it has wiped out universes. There is an imbalance with the dark web being manipulated. So, the intent of this meeting is to provide an understanding of balance. What is there to do to balance the energy? How do you serve and support from a place of balance? Because you're all here from an imbalanced dimension. When you work on balance, it is very important that you honor both places. You honor both realities. You honor the dark web as well as you honor the light web. And what there is to do is focus on the intent that there is a balance between the dark and the light. There is a balance between expansion and destruction. Not the word I want. The balance in expansion and destruction. There is a sorry guys, I lost it now. There is balance for both. There is a need for both. So when you're focusing on the light web and expanding its ability for light, remember that it is a free choice. When you're focusing on the dark web, remind that energy that it has to allow free choice. Both the light and the dark have to allow free choice. That is spiritual law. That is the law of light. That is the law of the quantum field. That is the law of consciousness. That is the law of how light remains fluid. You're all here from dimensions that have restricted the flow of the light and love and choice. That is the concern, because it is rippling into our dimension. We know how to balance it. We'll be fine. Our concern is for all of you, because you may create patterns and quantum entanglements that are very hard to separate from. That is the key here. If you fight one, you will be more entangled by it. So those beings that want to empower the dark to fight against the light are more entangled by the light. Beings who are fighting for the light, that want to destroy the dark, are being more entangled by it. Many of you here are what you consider yourselves to be as light workers. You're fighting against the dark, which has you even more entangled by it. This is the imbalance. Shift it by honoring a time and a space for the dark and a time and a space for the light. Most importantly, allow for free choice. Souls are on an evolutionary path. Every soul needs to learn something. Until you get into our consciousness field, you're still in a karmic place of learning. And that may be to face the greatest fear, to shift into the greatest love. Maybe. Whatever you do, maintain a balance. Honor both. Honor both. Now, should there be harm in that? Should people suffer in that? Should people be murdered or tortured in that balance? No, that's an imbalance. That's an imbalance in the same way, which is what causes the fight. The fight for freedom, the fight for choice, the fight to be right. It's all a fight. Whatever you're fighting, you're resisting and it's persisting. Instead, focus on equality, choice, balance of light-dark, or what's also known as yin-yang. The balance of positive and negative. Balance of night and day. Balance. Free choice. Bless those who choose the dark. Because if you fight them, you will be energetically held to them. And they can energetically impact you. The more you stay neutral, the more you stay as an observer, the more you choose your own field and your own space and light and love, you will be free. Remember, something can only affect you if you allow it. Now, it's one thing to say if you're not being tortured or murdered or harmed or beaten or anything on that nature. That's one thing to say. The more you stay neutral, you walk through the field and it doesn't connect to you because its frequency can't align to you. It doesn't align to you. You keep your being in a high vibration. Then harmful substances, harmful chemicals, harmful anything won't connect to you because you are vibrating at a space and a molecular rotation that does not allow its connection. This is what we easily do and accomplish in our vibrational fields. We understand you haven't arrived there yet, and this is how you do it. The more neutral you remain, the more easily you flow through everything. If you don't get hooked by it, you don't attract its magnetic pulse to your own. You're not a match for it. It won't impact you. When you're able to do that, you will find a balance between the dark and the light on your planets, in your galaxies, in your universes. That is what is important for all of you to know right now. We thank you for coming. We take our leave. Namaste. Wow. Galilee, what is this group? What dimensionality are we in? Do we have a name for this? Is it the Octarian galaxy? No, Karen, it's not. You're in a different dimensional galaxy. Can you help everybody listening understand that? I'm still not sure what I think I know what you mean, but I want the listeners to be able to understand. So what this means is there's a vibrational field that beings are living in and working in and playing in. And this is all possible for all of us to arrive at. And is it within our universe? Yes. Yes. There are multiple dimensions within our universe. Okay. Is there a name for this dimension? There is. It's Octavian. Octavian? Is it where the Octarians come from? Yes. It is. Huh. Okay. Well, that's making a little more sense. But they seem to have more humanoid bodies than these beings. You're right, these beings are more 10 to 12. Or 10 to 14th dimensionality. Okay. And am I right that there's amphibian beings here? Yes, you are right. Karen, many of look at your dolphin species on Earth. Highly, highly intelligent. And they simply stay on the planet to assist all of you. But they could easily be in a different dimension at this vibration. Remember when you asked where the unicorns went? Because there's such a beautiful high vibration. They are in another dimension like this. Why you can't get to them. The dark entities can't get to them anymore. Okay, good. Good. Is that where the dragons live too? Are they in these other dimensionalities? Or are the dragons in our dimension? Both. There's dragons who live in both. Got it. So some have ascended to this level. Correct. Okay. Can we say that about all beings? Are all beings? Have there been beings or consciousness fields that have expanded beyond 3D in all species? Yes, there are. Well, that's wonderful to know. So if they're extinct on our planet, they may be somewhere else. Very probably. Yes. Probability is very high. Okay, good. Mark, you have a question?
Yeah, so Dragon, Blue, and Gilly, are they 10 to 12 like the Octarians?
No. They're in your dimension. They're working with you. So they are they Chironian? Is Blue from Chironia too? Yes, he is. Okay. Yeah, they're working with us as part of their ascension process, right? Yes, they are. We are leaving this room now and we're walking. Mark, ask the question about what we got the other day about the star seeds that are on the planet unwelcome. They weren't without permission.
A few days ago, Karen and I got a bunch of percentages as far as the number of Earth humans or life forms on Earth, and who are there with permission. I count the starseeds that are on Earth with permission doing the work, and the percentage of those that were there without permission. And then from that percentage, we got the number of how many were androids, were clones. But I also was getting hybrids as well, not created of higher intention. And then we got a percentage of those that were just human, not necessarily starseeds, and how many of them will awaken moving forward once we have the truth disclosure and Jasera, Nasera, and so forth. Can you give clarity to those numbers and what they represent, and fill in the details that we did not have?
Well, your numbers were accurate. Your Earth is below the 51%. Sorry. Human consciousness is below the 51% that's needed for the transition to the fifth dimension. And it's because of this very conversation, the dark and light web, and what's been going on. The dark web on dark entities that choose. Let me rephrase that. There are beings who choose the dark web as their source. There are beings like the two of you who choose the light web as their source. And myself and Kari would be in that category as well. The beings that choose the dark have manipulated the laws, and they have created manipulative methods to capture people in that web and entangle them in the karmic entanglement of the dark web. That's where your numbers are showing the fact that a lot of people haven't woken up because they're caught in that entrapment, in that entanglement. And that was the purpose of the meeting today, is to bring that forth to everyone, because you asked that question. And what is it going to take to wake people up and have them realize that they are being manipulated by beings that want to destroy the planet? That's what happens. That's what happened to Tiak, also known as Maldek. And it's now the asteroid belt, because there were beings who were very destructive, and they literally destroyed the planet. As you know, we work in support of Earth, and we do not want to see Earth destroyed. You know that Kari's people are you in the future, and they're here to correct imbalances that would destroy all of you in the future. That is the purpose of understanding the dark web. There's a time and a place for everything. With the amount of people that are being manipulated, it's from that source that you particularly asked about, that we're on Earth without permission. Very important to understand. the beings that are somewhere without spiritual permission are there in a harmful way. They're not wanting to create balance. They're wanting to create imbalance. And you're seeing that all over your planet right now with all the writing. It's a complete imbalance. You're seeing a complete imbalance between the haves and have-nots.
Right. Like the censorship of the right. Like the censorship against light workers, the truth tellers on the internet, and all of that disinformation that's done and manipulation, as well as them harming the true light workers, truth tellers, and all of that needs to come to light to part of the truth disclosure.
And that's a perfect segue for what was spoken today. For all the light workers out there that are feeling entrapped or manipulated or beaten down, discredited, that is intentional. That is how they get you entangled. What's important to remember is, and hey, we're human, we understand. It's not that simple. But the more that you can work on keeping your vibration at a neutral tone, the more that you can stop and make a connection with your light and unconditional love, you hold yourself in a neutral space. You hold yourself in a neutral space. Everybody, I'm being told to tell you this piece because it keeps coming up in my mind. There's a movie called Australia, and it's in the middle of a war scene at the end of the movie, and this shaman, who is an Aborigine shaman, and he would always stand on one leg with his knee bent out like tree pose, and he would observe. He would just observe, and he would follow. You'd see him throughout the story observing what was happening with his grandson and what was going on with the main characters. And you see him when this harbor is being bombed during the World War II scene, and the Japanese are bombing Australia. And you see him walking through, and he's looking around, and the bombs are landing everywhere around him. And he's just walking through in total awe, kind of shock, kind of, wow, what is this, just totally. But he wasn't in the world. He was of the world, but he wasn't in that scene and that dimension at the moment. And that's kind of what I keep getting we're supposed to accomplish. He could walk through that, and none of the bombs, they exploded next to him, around him. Everything was happening. He was not impacted by it because he was not of that conversation. Until he sees harm that's going to be done to his grandson. And all of a sudden, he's part of the scene because he got hooked in. So that's what you're saying, Galilee, right? The light workers are being hooked when they get in the battle. Or anybody is being hooked. If we can keep ourselves in observer space and stay aligned with our light, stay aligned with our truth, and stay aligned with love and balance and harmony and peace internally, if we stay in that eye of the storm, we will not be hooked by the dark entanglement anymore, will we? Correct. Now, that said, excellently, Karen, what else is to know is if you have hurts, wounds, shame, guilt, anger in your field, it's easier for you to get hooked. So the more you forgive, the more you release, the more you balance your own energy fields, the less you will be hooked by the magnetic resonance of the actions that are being created on Earth. And the less people that are hooked, if people could have gone to those peace marches, if people could have gone to those and they weren't angry, they didn't feel oppressed, they didn't feel victimized, nobody would have picked up a brick. But because they had those energies and these emotions and those victimhood thoughts in their field, they got hooked into the storm. The shaman in that analogy didn't. He wasn't about war. He was about peace. So war couldn't touch him until he got hooked at the thought of his grandson, his family being harmed because his daughter was murdered. And now his grandson, no way was he going to allow that to happen. That's where he got connected to the storm, connected to the dark entanglement. That's a piece of the ascension to getting your consciousness at the level we just saw, what we're all working towards.
Right. Yeah. This weekend that we are recording this is weekend of the summer solstice, June 20th and 21st. And there is a major energy shift going on right now. And then Karen and I were also talking about the Mayan calendar and so forth. Can you give more clarity to what is actually going on and at this point and why we were guided to do it this weekend?
Thank you for remembering this, Mark. Yeah, the fact that it's the Mayan calendar, they've reevaluated the calendar, and that the calendar ends today and not in 2012. What is the significance of that?
And the fact that it's a solstice as well.
Yes, the solstice, the eclipse, and the new moon. I believe it's the new moon. Or is it a full moon? It's a new moon. I don't remember. It's one of them. So the significance of all of that is there is a huge shift, and it's a portal opening is being created. And the calendar is such that when they went back and took into effect that there were different energetic shifts that created time imbalances, that it would move where the calendar landed as the ending point. When you understand that time is fluid, time and space are fluid, that can easily shift, and it actually will loop back on itself. And many thought that there were going to be huge changes in 2012. There were huge changes in 2012. It was a time where you moved into the age of Aquarius and you started to see the movements. There were galactic changes in your solar system, creating different astrological alignments, which created different energy flows, which then affected all of us, affected us as well as Earth. when you look at the fact that the Mayan calendar might have been linked to now, really it's a time loop, because it was just as impactful in 2012 as it is now. Now you're going to see other massive shifts happening. Again, it aligns astrologically as well. So there are many factors that come into play that create these changes on your planet, which allow opportunities for human consciousness to shift. In particular, right now, this is a huge awakening. And in actuality, the storms, the riots, the protests, the killing, the harm that's been done is a way that everything was exploding to the surface so that you could all see what still needed to be healed. And as painful as that is, it was necessary for what's next. The portal that you're moving into, that's being created, and that will be the final thread of it, will open up by the 22nd. Somewhere around the 22nd, I believe it is. Yeah,
so that's tomorrow.
That time frame. That's tomorrow. No, then that's not it. Is there another piece to this party? Today's the 21st. What is today? 21st.
Today is 21st of June.
Okay. Well, remember something. Your eclipses, there's a 3-day window effect. So it kind of started Friday night and it'll end Tuesday morning. You're going to see the effect of this energetic shift happening. Is there another eclipse yet that's happening this month? I don't know about that. But, okay, this portal. Let's talk about this portal. We'll let that one go. It's opening a window for the healing to happen. Everybody has seen what's going on the planet, that there is still so much discontent and upset. It's the storm. It's the storm. And most people were shown that they cannot stand in the eye of the storm. They are in the flow of the chaos. And that's what this huge portal is opening it up to show you it can shift. There is an opportunity, and that's why the information today was so critical to bring forward. How to be the observer, how to look for balance, create balance within self, then you create balance in your field. That then energetically affects other beings. If you can keep releasing and freeing emotions for yourself and your ancestry, that will help to create a balance. It will continue the flow. There's a huge opportunity for darkness to be seen. Okay, Galilee, I'm getting this impression, and I want to make sure that I'm interpreting this correctly. So, are you saying that the dark entities, the beings who choose the darkness, the beings that are here without permission, this portal time is an opportunity for them to be seen and energetically shifted? Yes.
Will they also be removed, as when Karen and I got the numbers that we spoke of earlier, that they will also be removed off the planet and out of power and control?
Yes, that is being worked on. The Andromeda Council, the federations, they're all helping to remove them. Yes, they have gone against free will. They have gone against spiritual laws.
Mm.
So this is energetically the time of their, so to speak, trial. Time's up. Is this the, I think the sand's run out on them, Mark. Has
Right.
the sand run out on their chaos? Yes, it has.
Mm.
And that's what
So
the Mayan... Oh, wait, Mark, wait. That's what the Mayan calendar signified. Their time ran out. Exactly.
So,
wow.
So they will be physically removed. Is it between specific months that they will be removed, or all at once? What is the process that the Andromeda Council and the other councils have figured out for them to remove them? And will that include the clones, the androids, the hybrids, and so forth, as we were shown?
There's the entanglement conversation. Good question, Mark. That's the entanglement conversation. You can't just remove them without dissolving the entanglement to the clones, to the inbreds, to the humans who have chosen to work with them. Again, those inbreds, those humans, have been greatly manipulated. They basically sold their souls in order, some of them for power, some of them for money, some of them for fame, some of them to be the creators that they were born to be.
Mm-hmm. And some of the clones were created against the free will of the individuals as well.
Correct. But we have to make sure that the consciousness of the beings is protected. We can't just take out clones without protecting the consciousness of the humans. So it's an entanglement process or an unentanglement process. You can't just get rid of them all, but it is unraveling. And right now, what there is to know is that this is a really solid time frame, but the time is up. And it's time that you're going to see it all being unraveled. And the truth coming out, and those that have been willingly participating will have to do their time, so to speak. They will have to make different choices or be, they don't want to say imprisoned because that really doesn't do anything. That doesn't help. But know that all of these beings will be working with the galactics to shift. Energetically, we have to allow free choice. But what if they choose not to? Is that when they get to go to a different dimensionality? Yes, it is.
Like they dealt with the dark fleet, and how was that brought into completion?
Yes, Mark. That was brought into completion, and that had to happen for this next step. So excellent link again. Now they can start working, and will they be moved to that same dimension with the dark fleet? Yes. Got it. Very great. Very, very great. So those that can be forgiven and re-educated and brought back into the human consciousness field will be. And those that gave themselves a free choice, they will be allowed to continue to serve the dark. Yes. But in a different dimensionality. Correct. Okay. I understand. Mark, do you have any other questions about that?
Well, it is interesting that even before that meeting dealing with the Dark Fleet, that I was hearing and foreseeing that as a potential of how they would be dealt with and others. And it's just interesting how it all comes together. You know, I just love it now that it's actually happening and seeing it coming to the completion phase. It's freeing. I mean, we need freedom not only of our planet to fully ascend, but all the other planets that have been held back, so they can also ascend, so that the effect can ripple out in a positive way throughout creation.
Absolutely.
So that's why we had that meeting.
Absolutely. This was fascinating, Galilee. Thank you, Galilee and Kari. We have a lot to think about, and I feel when you were saying freeing, Mark, I'm feeling like I can breathe and be the observer again, knowing that. That just helps me be the observer again. So thank you for this meeting. We are back at Galilee, so I'm going to call this meeting to an end today. Is there any other parting words that you have for us? No, you understand, and this is an important time. The more that you can stay in that observer mode, the more that you can stay in the balance and empowering the light web and asking for those that wish to be free of the dark to be allowed to be, that is a neutral space. That is a place that you can stay without being impacted by it. And that is what that attitude, that gratitude, that intention is what will serve all of humanity and all of the universe the most. Thank you all. Namaste. Thank you both.
Yeah. Thank you. Love, light, and blessings, appreciation to all of you, the Inner Earth, the Andromeda Council, and all the other councils of light. And let's move this thing forward and bring it on to completion and move on together.
Amen.
The greater good of the whole. For the greater good of the whole. Make it happen.
Thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. So, everyone, thank you for listening this month. All of Mark's and my information will be on with the show notes, and we will see you back next month. Happy observing for a month. Let's just say happy observation. Goodbye for now.